How's it going, everybody? I'm Steve and welcome back. So I haven't done anything on this channel for a little while. I have a movie channel. It kind of takes up a lot of my time, but I really like music, especially like hard rock and metal. And something special happened here on Friday, January 23rd. The new Megadeth got released. This is their 17th album. It's supposed to be their last album. We'll see what happens there. They're probably going to go on like tour for like 3 years. So who knows? Dave Mustaine's like what, 64 or something like that now. So who knows? But I think it's pretty good overall. The album, it's kind of heavy. David Ellison did a review recently. He said he doesn't think this really kind of sounds like a Megadeth album, obviously because he's not playing on it. But there's some good stuff here that they Dave Mustaine wanted to do like a cover of Ride the Lightning, the song he co-wrote for Metallica years ago. And I think that this just kind of talking about that right away. That song overall, I think it sounds very much like Metallica until Dave's vocals kick in, and kind of comparing his vocals to James Hetfield, it's not really all that fair. Really Dave really doesn't sing a lot on Megadeth albums. He kind of talks a lot. He has definitely his own style, but he's doing a Metallica song, so he has to sing those lyrics, and he didn't write the lyrics. I think he wrote like a lot of the guitar parts on this one. So it definitely sounds like very much sounds like a Metallica cover. So I think overall I've listened to this album probably like about 4 or 5 times, maybe 5 or 6 times, especially Ride the Lightning probably about 8 times altogether. It's one when I first bought this, I listened to like maybe the first 2 tracks, and then I skipped to track 11 or to kind of hear this. I was kind of excited because some of the stuff I had heard like on my phone or like on YouTube. But I think until you actually hear it in your car, it's definitely a different kind of vibe. You definitely get to hear the production on this. I think it's pretty good. It has Dave Mustaine and Chris Rakestraw did the production on it, and this they both did the production on like this album and the 2 previous ones, Dystopia, the Sick, the Dying, and the Dead. So I really like the way it sounds overall. It definitely, like I said, it doesn't sound quite as heavy as some of the other stuff, and the lyrics are definitely not quite as dark as some of their previous albums. But it's got its own, it has really kind of like a happy kind of vibe to it that I wasn't really expecting. So I bought this from the Exchange in Indianapolis. If you know the Exchange, they mostly sell like used stuff, but they sell maybe like 10% of their inventory is like brand new stuff too. So this is like $13 for it. I know that Target had an exclusive with a song called Bloodlust. That let me know in the comments if you actually heard that. I haven't heard it. I didn't realize it even existed until I bought this, and I saw some of the other entries out there. But they also had like I guess like a song called Nobody's Hero. It's like a digital bonus track, and the last note. I'll talk about that song later. It's I guess on a Japanese bonus track. It's all instrumental of that song. So I think it's a pretty good song. So let me know if you've heard any of those. I'm sure I can check them out online. But again, I really like to hear this stuff in my car to really get the full vibe of the songs. So the standard edition of this is 41 minutes. I like the Vic Rattlehead on the cover, but I think I would have preferred maybe a black background like I have on my thumbnail. I think I kind of like that. It makes it look a little bit darker. I think maybe Dave wanted to make it white to kind of make the album sort of light to give people that impression, I think, overall. But I don't really mind the white background. I think the black background would have been better. As far as the band here, you have obviously Dave, James Lomenzo. I think he's a good bass player. He played on the last album and they re-recorded the David Ellison tracks on it, and I think he's an adequate bass player. I think he's pretty good. I think it's just he can definitely play the Ellison parts, especially the classic songs, but I think he's just not really all that special as far as a bass player. He's fine. He definitely fills in well, but I think he's definitely not David Ellison as far as that style. As far as the other guys, I'll just say their first names, Dirk and Timu. I think they're great. That the drummer is Dirk. Timu, he's the Finnish guitar player. I think he's really. I've seen Megadeth twice now. I saw Timu. He was on the last tour I saw, and I think for the most part, he's really proficient as far as his guitar parts. He only made like maybe one mistake. It was definitely live. It was like late in the show. He made maybe one little note mistake. I used to see like Kiko. I saw him play once, and I thought he sometimes when he would play live, he was a little bit sloppy sometimes. Even though I think Kiko is really a great guitar player, but just when he played live, I thought he was a little bit off sometimes. But obviously Timu, I think he's definitely a outstanding replacement. So this album actually debuted at #1. You don't see that very often from like hard rock and metal bands. I think maybe like the last Ghost album did that, but you used to see that all the time in the '80s, but not so much anymore. Just talking about the tracks. Tipping Point's the first track off the album, the first single. I think it's a great opener. You've got the song "I Don't Care," and it's hard to say. Just listening to the lyrics, it's hard to kind of deny that song may be about David Ellison. Let me know in the comments if you think that. Just like I'm not somebody that really looks at the lyrics a lot, but definitely hearing that it says a traitor and a creep, a jack-off and a sheep. Just the jack-off parts, just knowing why he was Ellison was fired from this band. Also, the next line says, "A rat never learns. You get what you deserve." so I just think it's too close. Like I said, David Ellison did a review on this, but he didn't mention "I Don't Care." Maybe they cut it out of the video, possibly, but it's hard to really deny that. I think people have been talking about that a while, but the next track is "Hey God." I think it's outstanding. I really like the lyrics in that one. It says "Let there be shred." That's definitely like if you're a metalhead and you like shredding, like guitars. It's very on the nose, but kind of fun too. Just kind of hear Dave just kind of go off on that. It says the next track is a Puppet Parade. I noticed that I really like the song. That once you get to maybe the 3-minute 4-second mark, it has it definitely has like a Tool groove to it. I think for maybe 10 to 15 seconds. It sounds like Tool a little bit there. Maybe a kind of a homage to them necessarily, possibly. But it has Another Bad Day. I think it's really good. The song "Made to Kill" sounds like really like hardcore punk to me. Obviously thrash just kind of comes from like punk, like Motorhead, that kind of thing. So it definitely has like a kind of a nod to punk. Track 8 has a "Obey the Call." That sounds like the most like political song on this album to me, and maybe Tipping Point might be that way as well. It says "I Am War." I think that's a great, really kind of a non-skippable kind of song. None of these songs, I just listening to it over and over. I haven't skipped any tracks yet, so I think it's a good sign. I'd say that I like this album. I think it's still kind of growing on me a little bit now, but I would say I don't skip tracks on it. So it has the last track is the last note. I talked about the instrumental version on the Japanese edition earlier. That one I like that a lot. I like the lyrics. Definitely sounds like something that Megadeth might do, like the closer to shows. We'll see. They've got so many great songs that it's hard to say if they'll put this one in the set list. But I think it's pretty good. I like I said, Dave's lyrics to it. I think it's definitely saying like a goodbye to the fans. Even though Dave says he may do like a solo album, which a lot of people said that isn't that pretty much what Megadeth is, but without Ellison, and pretty much like a solo Megadeth album. I mean, they obviously if you're going to put Megadeth on the album, on the title, because it's definitely going to sell that way. If it just says David, if it says Dave Mustaine, it's not going to sell quite as well. People, he's the guy that's always been in Megadeth. So anytime he does anything, it's going to be Megadeth. just like like a Tony Iommi doing the Black Sabbath album. It's like he wanted to be a solo album years ago, back in the '80s, and the record company said you have to call it Black Sabbath. There's no way to get around it. Tony Iommi is Black Sabbath. Dave Mustaine is Megadeth. Okay, so finally, I'm just gonna flip through it here. Just I love this. Why I love buying CDs and getting artwork, just seeing on that kind of stuff. I think just to see a band spend time. It's Vic there. You can see a band still spend time putting stuff out, putting lyrics in the inside the cover. To me, it's like I always love to put the music on my stereo if I'm listening to it at home, and kind of have stuff to read through. Just instead of just being on my phone the whole time, just have something that you can kind of smell and look at, and just something just the artwork you can kind of hold here and see the lyrics. Like I said, I'm not as big of a lyrics guy. Like some people really focus on lyrics. I focus more on the music than lyrics, but still, it's fun to, if you're going to pay $13, you might as well get something out of it, just to kind of show it here. It's got, all the lyrics inside. It's just great that they spend time on that. It shows a band lineup here. I think that's cool. James, like I said, James. I think James is he's like 67, I think now. Like I said, he's a solid bass player. He's just not David Ellison to me. He can play David Ellison's parts live. I just think on the albums, I think it's just not quite as great. But he's adequate though. He's great as far as if you're not going to have Ellison. I think James is a pretty good replacement. And obviously Ellison's not going to come back. It sounds like that's permanently. Obviously he's left the band twice now, or was kicked out the second time. But it shows Ride the Lightning. It doesn't show the lyrics for Ride the Lightning. It just it shows the credits on it. It's more stuff in here. So you got plenty of stuff to flip through. So I think that's pretty cool, just to have some stuff to read as you're listening to it. Some of the thank yous on it. And then obviously this is great. I think that could have been the cover possibly. If you're not gonna have a black cover, maybe have something like that. I think that would have been even better to have that cool kind of background there. And then here's the back of it. So for me, like I said, it's still kind of growing on me. It's not quite there yet, but like I said, when I listen to it, I don't skip anything on it. So that's a pretty good sign. But I think the last album I listened to that, the Sick, the Dying, and the Dead, may have listened to it maybe 4 or 5 times, 5 or 6 times, something like that, and I liked it a lot. But I haven't listened to that album in probably like a year at least. So we'll see. Yeah, Megadeth with 17 albums. I go back to the early Megadeth a lot more. Peace Sells and Rust in Peace. I listen to those albums way more than some of these. I like Dystopia as well. So that's why I think Countdown to Extinction I think is really great too. So, but like I said, please let me know in the comments what you think of this album. Do you think it's something that's still kind of growing on you? Please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a great one.